Section 14, we're going to talk about our duties as employees of the company. So what are our 5 duties that we have? So we have A, B, C, D, and E, 5 duties. Okay, so let's start reading in the book. Just below the previous one, it says there, General Duties of Employees at Work, Section 14. According to the Occupational Health and Safety Act, Act 85 of 1993, Section 14, the general duties of employees at work are as follows. Number A, take reasonable care for the health and safety of himself and of other persons who may be affected by his acts or omissions. So what does this mean? I split this into 2 different sections. I start talking about first, take reasonable care of your own health and safety. So you have to make sure that you are safe from your actions and your omissions, you yourself. So we know what's an action, eh? It's a thing that you're doing. But an omission is something that you must do, you should do, but you did not do it. You omitted to do that action. You should not be influenced negatively by your own omissions. And then on top of that, the second section, it says, take reasonable care of the health and safety of other persons, of other people that might be affected by your actions or your omissions. No one should be affected by the thing that, or negatively affected by the things that you're doing or should do but you did not do. Okay. That's number A. Number B, let's read in the book. A little bit downward from there, you'll see that it says, as regards to any duty or requirement imposed on his employer or any other person by this act, cooperate with such employer or person to enable that duty or requirement to be performed or complied with. Okay. This thing says, can you guys remember back in Section 8, the general duties of the employers? We said that in subsection 2, paragraph G, that the boss, the owner of the company, the employer, he must make sure that we follow South African law. Do you guys remember that? So I said then, if we do not follow South African law, then that means that he's not following South African law. No? Now this law that we just read now says, if there is such law, which we know, no? Section 8, subsection 2, paragraph G, then please follow the law so that he can follow the law, so that you can follow the law. It works in a circle again and again and again. Because if you break this law, then this means that he's breaking the law, then you're breaking this law, then it means that he's breaking the law, then you're breaking this law, and it goes on and on and on. So, please follow the law. Follow the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Follow the regulations underneath it so that he can follow it, so that you can follow this specific one. And this is all to just ensure compliance, not only from your part, but from his part as well, their part. Could be a body corporate. Okay, now listen carefully. Because of this, because of Section 14, paragraph B, and Section 8, subsection 2, paragraph G, these two together, listen carefully, health and safety in the workplace is not 50-50. It's not 50% you, 50% him. It's 100-100. If you do not do your duty, then he's not doing his duty. If he's not doing his duty, then you're not doing your duty. It's 100-100. It's not 50-50. We have to understand this. You must comply with the law, even though he's not complying with the law. It's not, he's not doing it, so I'm not going to do it. The law is 100% on top of you, and it's 100% on top of them, the employer. Okay. Any questions for number B? Nothing. Okay. Number C. Number C says, carry out any lawful order given to him and obey the health and safety rules and procedures laid down by his employer or by anyone authorized thereto by the employer in the interest of health and safety. So what they're saying is, your company's policies, procedures, and standards, we said that everything is internal stuff, no? Right. South African law, stuff that we're busy with now, is external. It's outside of the company. Everyone has to follow South African law, but not everyone has to follow your company's policies, procedures, and standards. I don't have to. I'm not an employee. Yeah, at least. So this means that the company's policies and procedures is not law. But because the law talks about them, it refers to them, now they are law. The law says you must follow them. Now they have become law. So you must follow your company's policies, procedures, and standards that have to do with health and safety as if they are law, because they are now. Section 14 of the Occupational Health and Safety Act, paragraph C, has made them law. Great. Any questions about that? All right. So when your boss says, wear your PPE, you must wear your PPE as if it is law. And in any case, it is law. It's underneath the regulations, general safety regulations. But it is now doubly so because the boss said so. And it has to do with health and safety. Great. The next one, number D and number E, they are extremely important to understand. Number D and number E, they almost go hand in hand together. But first, let's go through number D. Number D says, if any situation which is unsafe or unhealthy comes to his attention, as soon as is practicable, report such situations to the employer or to his health and safety representative, that would be you guys now, for his workplace or section thereof, as the case may be, who shall report it to the employer. So this means, when you as an employee, when you witness any unsafe or unhealthy condition, or unsafe acts even, what should you do? What should you do? Report. To who? To the boss, or they must report to you guys. But usually we report to the supervisor, we report to the manager, guys like that. Now, so if you see stuff like this, two guys holding up a ladder on the one side while being supported by the ground on the other side, is that safe?
Are they trying to make safe for him?
That's not safe. No, no. That's not the safe way.
But where needs to be done?
You get ladders that have extension legs.
But
Then you're not supposed to be working there. If you do not have the proper equipment, if you do not have guard railings, if you do not have proper training, you should not be working there. We read that with section 8. I think it was paragraph F, if I'm correct.
So tell me about that.
Yeah.
so I'm scared to lose my job. So
What did I say this morning? I told you this morning. If, and we're going to get to it. I'm going to go through this again. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. I'm going to explain it again. I'm going to go through it again. What about a ladder on top of a table? On top of a table, is that safe? But Mr. Supervisor, I don't have a ladder that's long enough. Then you should not be working there. Get the proper equipment. Get a ladder that is long enough. Build a scaffolding. That's the first thing. When you go through the working at heights, you're going to realize scaffolding is the first thing that you want to build. Check if the scaffolding is safe beforehand. All of that stuff. Yes. What about this? What should you what should you report? What should you do if you see stuff like this? Report. What about this? What about pushing up a refrigerator through a window on a ladder? So remember, number one, when you're working at heights, 3-point contact always. Doesn't matter what's the situation. Meaning you have 4 points of contact, 2 hands, 2 feet. You can have 1 foot in the air while still standing on one foot and holding with 2 hands, or standing with 2 feet and holding with 1 hand. You can never climb with something in your hand because this means you don't have proper grip onto that thing. So he's climbing with only one hand. This means, listen carefully now. The moment that he lifts up his foot to climb onto the next step, he's only holding up with one hand and one foot. Now listen to this. Now he's putting his foot there. Remember, he's holding with one hand the refrigerator. Now he's going to let go with this hand to grab higher. This means while he's standing like this, he's only standing on with his feet and pushing up like this on a ladder. Is that safe?
No.
You never climb up with something in your hands. So how do we do this? You climb up to the level that you want to be and you pull it up with a rope. Or, in this situation, it should have been a forklift or a crane getting that thing through. Not like this. In general, if it looks unsafe, most probably it is unsafe. That's a good rule of thumb. It's not always, but if it looks unsafe, most probably it is unsafe. So all of these that we went through, these are called unsafe acts. Things that people are doing the unsafe way. But now we have a different one. We have a situation where the environment is unsafe. We call this an unsafe condition. So working in water. But now listen, I already see, you guys can see the dangerous act inside of the unsafe condition. Having extension cords running through the water, having a welding machine going through the water. That is a dangerous act inside of the unsafe condition. And you can see they thought of this. You can see the wooden plank there with the grinder lying on top of it. You can see these wiring have been kept out of the water with the plank. Why didn't they do it with the rest of the wiring? Unsafe. Stuff like tripping hazards. It's unsafe. What must we do when we see stuff like this? Report. Unguarded edges. The construction regulation says any time that you are in a fall risk position, this is some time that you can fall off of something. It must be guarded. There must be guard railings in place. Is there guard railing there? What must we do? Report. What about exposed electrical wiring? Report. Now check this following one. This is both an unsafe act and an unsafe condition again. Watch. So, what is the unsafe condition? The boulder, not a rock. That's not a rock, that's a boulder. That boulder can weigh easily 2 to 3 tons. Do you think those 2 tiny sticks, they're going to keep it up?
No.
If that boulder decides, hey, I want to go, it's going to go. Those sticks are going to do nothing. So that's the unsafe condition. If it was me, I would have said break out the boulder and then lift it out with a crane or with a forklift or something like that. But in this situation, they decided to keep it in there. Him working there, him choosing to work there is the unsafe act. What should he have done? Refused first, then reported to the supervisor saying, listen, this is not the proper way to do it. We need to get proper bracing, or the better option, break the rock out and then take it out. Then I'll work there. But we know this. This is the question that you just had now. Now you go tell the supervisor, and he says, listen, no work, no pay. So what happens? You jump the supervisor. You go to the manager. You tell the manager, look at where these guys want me to work. It's unsafe. It's not it's not according to the Occupational Health and Safety Act or any of the other regulations. And he's going to say, no work, no pay. Then you jump the manager, you go to the owner, the employer, the big boss. And you tell him, look where I'm working. Look at the conditions on site, what they're making us work in. And what's he going to say? No work, no pay. That's most what happens. No? Now you're standing there. You want me to work in an unsafe situation, which the law says you cannot do. The law says I must report this to you, and then you must do something about it. So what can we do now if the boss says, sorry, I don't care? We said this morning, CCMA, Department of Labor. You tell them, listen, this is what the site conditions are. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to say, sorry, where's your proof? This is why this picture exists. Listen, this is why this picture exists. You cannot just go to them and say, look at what, not look, this is what they're doing. You must say, look at what they're doing. You must have proof. You must have paperwork. You must have videos. You must have pictures. You cannot just go with nothing. You must have proof of what you are saying. I said this morning, paper trails. You have a question?
No, I was just agreeing to this because, smartphones are very important now because they are keeping records of everything that
Yes.
we are doing. So, I think it's a good suggestion that everybody
Mm.
mostly must have phones.
Mm. So remember, your job from today on, tomorrow, is going to be the person that fights for the employees' rights to be safe on site. The employees, the rest of the guys, they're going to come to you. They're going to come to you and say, listen, look at where they're making me work in. Does the law say anything about this? Then you're going to say, yeah, this is not right. Then what do you do with that information? Supervisor, manager, owner. If nothing, Department of Labor, CCMA. Remember, it can be anonymous. You can go to the Department of Labor anonymous. This means that no one knows who made the claim. You can go to CCMA anonymous. Your boss will never know it's you. The supervisors, managers, not even the workers that complain to you will know that it's you, unless you want them to know. Okay. But back this thing up. Have evidence, have proof. Okay. Number E, we've touched on number E now this morning with the definitions. Number E says, if he is involved in any incident which may affect his health or which has caused an injury to himself, report such incidents to the employer or to anyone authorized thereto by the employer, or to his health and safety representative as soon as practicable, but no later than the end of the particular shift during which the incident occurred, unless the circumstances, let's go to the next page, the circumstances were such that the reporting of the incident was not possible, in which case that it shall be reported the incident as soon as practicable thereafter. So what does this mean? It means whenever you were involved in an incident, you must report that as quickly as possible. We prefer that you report this to the supervisor, to the manager, to the owner of the company, or to the health and safety representative before the end of the shift in which the incident happened. But if it's not possible, if it's physically not possible for you to go and report that because you're lying in the hospital, then as soon as you can after the incident. But remember this. We're going to go through the OHS Act as well, the conditions, the compensation for occupational injuries and diseases. You can still get compensation, even if it is someone else who reported. It doesn't have to be you. Could be your wife, could be your husband, could be your child, could be your mother, your father, your supervisor, your manager. It doesn't have to be you that was injured. Okay. Now, we remember, incident means a near miss and an accident. We know accidents, these things we report, but we should also report near misses. Why? They're going to happen again. Next time, it's an accident. Next time, it's not going to be a near miss. It has the potential to be an accident. Okay. Say again? Not everyone reports them.
person did a near miss
Yes?
when arrested from the
No. That was on purpose. Yes, that picture was deliberate. It was on purpose. No? He knew he's taking a chance now. But in some situations, you don't always know that you're taking a chance. Sometimes it's just because there's nothing in place to stop that thing from happening. It's one of the things that happen. But it was a near miss. Whoa. I didn't know I was taking a chance. But next time, you know what? It was a near miss. It's not going to happen again. It's just a once in a lifetime thing. Nah? That's what we always think. But next time, it's going to hit you. We cannot rely on, he learned his lesson. That's not how it works. That's not how people work. It's not going to happen. So we need to investigate. Why was it a near miss? Because it will happen again. We have to keep that in mind, that there is a chance that it will happen again. And if it happens again, it's not going to be a near miss. It will be an accident. And we need to stop that accident from happening. Because yes, it could be just property damage, but it could be a fatality. Could be that both of the car drivers dead. Could be a family of 5 dead. Because we didn't want to investigate a near miss. We investigate even near misses as if they are fatalities. Right. Any questions about Section 14 of the Occupational Health and Safety Act?